Yajat sir, Riddhi ma'am is on in the lobby. Please let her in. Yajat sir. Yajat sir, Riddhi ma'am is in the lobby.
Done, ma'am.
Happy morning, dear parents. We are just waiting for some more parents to join in, and we'll start in a while.
My school particularly did not have a counselor. Yes. You understand being an adolescent that how much is it that we need safe spaces around us. There were lessons on syntax, and science, however, none on sorrow, self-worth, self-esteem and stress. And that contributed to a large part of me asking why. Why are we there in a school system or an education system? And what are we trying to do? But I was not only content with asking why, I wanted to design a how. At DPS Dwarka Expressway, we don't just enroll children, we enroll families. And that is why we have parenting circles, that we call them Zaria. Because when parents talk, it's not lecture that they're hearing someone from. They are conversations. They're candid moments of their failures and their successes as parents. They relearn connections and they unlearn fear. Going forward in future, individuals will no longer be valued on the marks they get, but on the authenticity, the alignment with themselves, and how aware they are as individuals will really matter.
Oh, 'cause say we're running down and see your car go way down.
gratitude that I address you today as the head girl.
Our school is honored to be part of the prestigious DPS network. It is a place where academic excellence meets with all-round development. My journey in DPS has been nothing short of transformative. It is a place where academic brilliance meets life-changing values. It is a place where students are encouraged to dream big while staying humbled.
I am Ainish Bhandari of DPS Dwarka Expressway. DPS provides a comprehensive career guidance through programs, workshops, assessments, and counseling sessions. At DPS, learning extends far beyond the textbooks. From excelling in sports arenas and showcasing creativity in cultural festivals to taking on leadership responsibilities and driving impactful community projects. Students are given diverse opportunities to discover their strengths, explore their potential, and become well-rounded individuals.
Discover DPS Dwarka Expressway, where curiosity meets innovation in science and technology. Step into the spotlight with drama. Excel in sports, driven by rigorous training and a strong sense of team spirit. Immerse yourself in the world of visual art and embrace environmental sustainability. Prepare to ace your career in a competitive world, all while nurturing your emotional well-being. Your future starts here.
Namaskar. I am Sarika Rahul Chopra, Principal DPS Dwarka Expressway, a decade-old education institution which falls under DPS Society, an educational institution that is in the heart of Gurgaon Sector 102 and 103. When we talk about the motto, service before self, it is not just the motto. It is actually our culture. It is actually our belief. It is actually our priority, and it is actually what we're looking for our children. Compassionate, confident, and competent. Our focus of academic excellence is deeply rooted in our approach towards holistic learning. When we say holistic learning, we are just not preparing children for exams, but we are preparing them for life. We have interdisciplinary modules, we have projects which teach them how habits are there, we have objective enrichment activities which actually just don't enable them in their subjects, but make them competent, help them understand the real life application is what it's going to be. We have proven our meter year after year in our board results that shows that DPS Dwarka Expressway is looking at academic excellence all throughout. Our school just doesn't focus on board exams and getting our children selected in CUETs, NEETs and Js. We are also focused at each and individual.
So happy morning, everyone.
Happy morning, Agarwal.
Happy morning.
So before,
Happy morning.
thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Now we'll proceed towards the session. I request everyone to please mute yourself. With the immense warmth and gratitude, we welcome you to the Cambridge Early Year Orientation 2026-27 at DPS Dwarka Expressway. I am Radhi Jain Agarwal, your moderator for today's event. It is truly a milestone moment for us as we step forward to offer a globally benchmarked early years program that stands for curiosity, creativity, joyful learning. Today's orientation is designed to give you clarity, confidence, and a holistic view of what the Cambridge Earlier program will bring into your child's foundational years. TPS Dwarka Expressway has always believed in education that nurtures the whole child, mind, body, and heart. For more than a decade, we have built a learning atmosphere, an environment which is rooted in trust, compassion, progressive pedagogy, and academic excellence. Introducing Cambridge Early Years is our way of expanding possibilities. giving families the freedom to choose a curriculum that best aligns with their aspiration, values, and their child's learning style. Before we dive into the Cambridge Early Years program, let me introduce the key panelists who will be guiding today's session. So, parents, our first panelist is Dr. Naina Kapoor, the director of DPS Dwarka Expressway. Welcome, ma'am. Then our next panelist is Ms. Neha Chauhan, academic advisor at Cambridge International Education. Our third panelist is Mr. Mohit Vats, manager North India at Cambridge International Education. I welcome all the panelists over here. Dr. Naina Kapoor brings over 15 years of experience in behavioral science and education, and she has led several meaningful initiatives in our school which focus on the well-being, safety, and the holistic growth of our young learners. She strongly believes that every child deserves an environment which feels valued, confident, and inspired to learn. Her guidance has played a key role in shaping our early years vision. We are delighted to have her here, and she will be guiding us forward in this session. Thank you, Nana ma'am, for joining in. Nana ma'am. So before we proceed, I request all the
Happy morning,
parents to
everyone.
please be on mute. Yes. Thank you so much.
डायरेक्टर है ना
बंद कर दो पर
क्यों बंद करूं
Happy morning, everyone. Happy morning
Happy
to all.
morning, ma'am.
And I welcome you all to Explorica, to understanding the fact that why Cambridge education in DPS Dwarka Expressway. Well, when I talk about DPS Dwarka Expressway as a progressive school, not only understanding the needs of children, students, and teachers around, however, providing need-based intervention to them. The premise that we focus on is connection over curriculum. When I talk about DPS Dwarka Expressway, one of the key foundations that we focus on is connecting before correcting. Education landscapes these days no longer want a lot of correction. In fact, any child who has been tagged or labeled as attention seeking is actually connection seeking. What our facilitators and educators do in the classrooms is no more than magic. When I talk about teaching calm by not syllabus or curriculum, but by being calm. Emotional sturdiness is modeled rather than demanded. The next premise that we focus on is belongingness over individuality. And when we saw the Cambridge curriculum, we focused that it's a right fit for the school because according to our progressive nature, according to the landscape and the structure and ecosystem that I request all the parents to kindly mute themselves so that we can make the most out of this session. However, if you have any questions pertaining to DPS Dwarka Expressway or Cambridge, you can write in the chat box and we'll be happy to take the questions towards the end of the session. I request Ms. Riddhi to move forward with the introduction for the panelist and the official start of this.
Thank you so much, Nana ma'am. Nana ma'am, before we move forward, I really want to ask you, what is the larger vision behind introducing Cambridge program at this stage? I suppose all the parents have this question in their mind that why are we introducing Cambridge early years in our school? And how do you see it elevates the early learning experience of our children?
I feel that the introduction of Cambridge comes at a time where school has already built a robust system of systems, policies, and framework. And when I talk about early childhood care, it's more than one method that works. Each child is unique, and each child needs that agency, that structure, that order in the classroom. When we meet with today's generation, they come with a lot of inquisitivity and curiosity. However, with our current systems, we were able to do justice. But why not expand our horizons to making something more great? Something much more larger, where children not only explore, but they focus on how to think, they stimulate their exploration, and they focus on research based, inquiry based learning rather than just traditional and conventional methods. I don't mean to say that our classrooms are conventional, we are very progressive. However, what Cambridge offers us definitely suits to our system, because the current generation requires our efforts in not only pushing them, but also providing them a cushion for sturdiness, for readiness towards the real world learning. And that's where I find the vision of DPS Dwarka Expressway in making leaders, and the vision of Cambridge in making sure that exploration, inquisitivity, and curiosity is the heart, both aligned towards a larger vision. And that's why we thought that why not? Let's give it a chance. And when I personally studied the curriculum framework, the idea about learning spaces, of how environment, how teachers, how making sure that creating an ecosystem around the students and the parents can make their potential go up to 1,000 mile. I myself was convinced that this is where we want our future generations to be. So I think I've answered your question, Riddhi. We can move forward.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for enlightening us. So before I move forward, we have one more question for you, and then we'll move to the next panelist. What would you say is the most meaningful way in which parent can align with the school to ensure a seamless and enriching early learning journey for their kids in our school?
So I feel that I always say that children rise up to the level of your energy. So if the parents are carrying that kind of energy and vibrance, that yes, this is where I want to see my child, and not only this is an expectation from the child, I'm ready to work on myself as a parent, then definitely the energy and the journey becomes much more worthwhile and meaningful. However, I feel that this is a time where a lot of information is being supplied, in fact, given to the families, and we are all overstimulated. I think somewhere we have to understand that where is it that we need to stop? In fact, what we call our physical body is defined by the diet we eat. Our mental immunity or our emotional health is directly linked to the information and the stimulations around us in the environment. So when I talk about just therapies or probably methodologies or pedagogies that we practice in the school, it's not just, if we talk about free play, free play is not just taking any toy and playing with it. Free play is intentional. Free play develops curiosity, and that's where parents and need to collaborate with the school. An engaged parent is a blessing not only to the child but also to the school. I feel engagement, involvement, and their equal partnership in all our initiatives and educational ventures not only multiplies the child's growth and development and the success criteria, but also makes sure they're all in one equal community modeling and demonstration for bringing up the child in the best possible way. So I feel that's how I feel about how parents can contribute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I still remember every time parent, you just say that we are not admitting only a kid. We are admitting we are connecting with the whole family, because all the parents are joining our DPS family and we are a one big family. So, ma'am, could you also share one aspect of the school culture that you feel that uniquely complements the Cambridge early years experience and make it truly transformative for our kids?
I feel how we prepare children for 21st century skills, how we make sure that they are not only learning in the classrooms, but also connecting the dots outside. So literacy and numeracy is not something that they just read alphabets and capital A and small a, or just read stories. They're able to connect the threads. That's where I feel a lot of points where we have awareness, Cambridge has the curriculum to do so. So thereby extending this vision will definitely make sure that our children are there. Also, our focus on emotional sturdiness of a child, where well-being is given preference, where safety is something that's given importance. And safety is just not the absence of physical threat. Safety is when you feel connected, when you feel bonded, when you feel the belongingness in the classroom, not only amongst the classroom, amongst your classmates, but also when it comes from environment and ecosystem around you. That's your teachers, your leadership team, and your parents, and even the support staff. So I feel those core values are something that that guides us towards making sure that children are not only empathetic to each other, but also progressive. And empathy does not only mean that you're able to understand the other person. Empathy comes at several forms. Are we empathetic to the animals around us? Are we empathetic to the social workers around us? Are we empathetic to the community that serves us? Are we empathetic to the plants and the ecosystem and the flora and fauna? So, empathy at all levels, I would say, is something that determines the future course of students with DPS and with Cambridge. Over to you, Riddhi.
Thank you so much, Nana ma'am, for setting the context and helping our parents understand what is the reason of adding Cambridge and aligning the Cambridge early years with our school. Now, moving next with over 21 years of experience as an academic leader, including roles as coordinator, headmistress, and head of school, she has worked with some of the most respected institutions in Delhi and Kerala. Ms. Neha has been recognized for her contribution to academic excellence by several national and international education bodies. Today, she will help us understand the Cambridge Early Years Framework, learning outcomes, and the philosophy behind play-based active learning. We warmly welcome, we warmly welcome Ms. Neha, and along with Ms. Neha, with more than 14 years of experience in the education sector, he has supported schools across the country in building modern teaching practices and future-ready learning environment. His work focused on strengthening early years education and promoting 21st century skills for young learners. We are honored to have him with us today. Welcome, Mr. Mohit. Thank you, all our panelists over here. Now, I would request Ms. Neha to take over and share her guidance regarding the Cambridge early years.
Thank you so much.
Request all the parents to please mute yourself. If you have any question, you can put up in the chat box. We'll take up at the end.
Thank you so
Over to you,
much,
Neha.
Ms. Reddy, for the warm welcome. I warmly welcome all the parents for joining us today, on a Saturday, because we know that when it comes to your child's early years, every decision matters. These are the years when your child take their first steps into learning, into friendships, and into understanding the world. As parents, you want the best start, a nurturing environment, a safe space, and a curriculum that sparks joy, curiosity, and confidence. So, in today's session, it will all be about helping you see how Cambridge Earlier supports exactly that. Strong foundation, meaningful learning, and a world of possibilities for your child. So, before we begin, and if you could move to the next slide, I'm sure this question has crossed your mind at various points, and Ms. Naina also addressed to it. Why Cambridge? To address that, moving on to the next slide, you would understand exactly why. If an education that combines legacy, credibility, and innovation, shouldn't be asking ourselves why not Cambridge, and that too exclamatorily. Let me elaborate Cambridge International Education. It is a part of University of Cambridge, an 816 years old institution which has an impressive global presence, operating in 160 countries with over 10,000 schools. It has 160 years of legacy with the assessment as an assessment body and the largest research team among international boards. It remains the world's leading provider of qualifications for learners aged 3 to 19. So as parents, next that you would naturally want would be what is best for your child, not just academically, but in helping them develop confidence, curiosity, and those critical life skills, the 21st century skills that you keep hearing about. These are the very qualities nurtured through the Cambridge approach. And the attributes that you see on your screen, Cambridge learners truly embody being confident, being responsible, being reflective, innovative, and engaged. With that thought, let's take a closer look at Cambridge Early Years program. Next, that helps children grow into confident, curious, and world-ready learners. Cambridge Early Years, as you would see on the screen that appears next, it gives schools everything they need for a 3 to 6 year old overall development, which is structured around its 6 curriculum areas: communication and literacy, creative expression, mathematics, personal, social, and emotional development, physical development, and understanding the world. One of its greatest strengths is its well-rounded approach, a holistic, balanced, play-based curriculum complemented by teachers' support, classroom resources, professional development, and assessment approaches to track learners' progress. We'll be elaborating on that more. It also embraces linguistic diversity, supporting bilingual or multilingual learning, especially valuable where English is not the native language. So in countries which are non-native speakers, how bilingualism is integrated, even that is part of Cambridge curriculum framework for early years. Moving on, let's look at the thinking that underpins this curriculum. The key areas are, as mentioned earlier, it is backed by the latest educational research. The curriculum is built around 4 key early childhood development areas and help learners meet internationally established milestones of physical development, cognitive development, language and communication, social and emotional development. To put all of this into perspective, here are the 5 principles that shape Cambridge Early Years. So on the next slide, you would, okay, if could go to the previous slide, because I just wish to ask parents, and if in the chat window, you could just write a word or so explaining. There are these 5 important principles, which majorly all the earlier curriculum highlight, but Cambridge lay a lot of emphasis on, are highlighted by the letters E, A, B, P, T. So the letters E, A, B, P, T, and with each letter, if you could come up with something which you feel connects with your child's education, anything that comes to your mind, if you could just explain it. You may post. Excellence. Thank you so much. Can I get more responses? E, A. So E for excellence I've got. E, A, B, P, T. Emotional. Very important. E, A, B, P, D. E, A, B, P, T. Anything from A? Anything from B? Anything from play? From P, and anything from T? 1 or 2 more responses. Aptitude. Yes. Adapt. Anything from B? Or P, problem solving? Approach, empathetic. Lovely. Thank you for those responses and interacting, making the session more interactive. We could move on to the next slide. Thank you so much. The right answer came as balance also for B. So experience, active, balance, play, and transition. With experience, it implies that learning that connects with children's real lives, homes, and communities. Being active implies children learn best when they explore, question, and participate. So they are not only doing activity, but even if they are, uh, you know, interacting within themselves the way we just interacted, they are engaged. Balance, development across all domains, because a lot of you did cover emotional, empathetic, physical, obviously. So all the domains are equally important. So balance is very important. Play, which is central to learning, supporting creativity and discovery. Transition, I mean, it's a little tricky word to understand, but are the curriculum of early years preparing children to be ready for their next step in life, which is primary education? So even the that is covered very intricately with Cambridge early years. So the last years of early years prepare students very well to transition to a more structured primary education. Together, these principles ensure that learning is joyful, meaningful, and future focused. So let's now see what this looks in practice. An overview of the curriculum transaction
Why
in
choose
action.
Cambridge
Very
early
good.
years for your
Please go
child?
ahead.
We believe young children should have the best possible start in life. 85% of the brain develops in the first 5 years, which is when your child needs maximum stimulation. Cambridge Early Years is our brand new play-based programme for 3 to 6-year-olds. It's the start of an exciting journey, allowing your child to thrive in and outside of school. We worked with early years experts to develop the programme, so it reflects the very latest educational thinking. Cambridge Early Years allows your child to develop as an individual. It sparks their imagination and ignites their curiosity about the world, so they enjoy learning and are creative, confident, innovative, responsible and engaged. Our curriculum provides a strong foundation to help children move on to the next stage in their education seamlessly and successfully. It covers 6 essential learning areas, helping your child to develop speaking, listening, reading and writing skills in English, alongside your child's home language. Discover self-expression through art, design, music, dance and drama. Explore mathematical concepts in engaging ways. Follow a healthy lifestyle and develop movement skills through play-based activities. Build self-esteem and confidence. Reflect, question, explore, and develop their natural curiosity through the world around them. The best start for your child is Cambridge Early Years.
So a core part of Cambridge early years, with this EV, you must have got a gist of, all what we have talked previously. Moving on to a very important term that you've been hearing again and again, play-based approach. Can I get some responses in the chat window, maybe a word or two? What exactly is your understanding of a play-based approach, and how does it help? How do you think it would help in child's, academic learning? So the play-based approach, any responses? If I could get few responses. Play, yeah, makes learning easy. Okay, thank you so much. Exploring through play and enjoyful. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. They remember. True. Because it's the experience that makes us remember. We still remember when we were learning. Anything that we do experientially stays with us. Makes learning more fun, engaging. Learning in a fun way. I think, you all have tapped it correctly. The play-based approach is actually about, the term play, we understand it is associated with fun. So it enhances all area of child development because you're not only physically doing something, you are the personal, social, emotional development is happening, and for a child of that age group, the learning and the journey of these areas growth is very important. It play builds life skills and positive relationships. We all would agree. There are researches based on how sports and anything which is playful creates long lasting relationships. It supports positive learning behaviors. So a lot of us would have gone through the journey when we were young, that uh, the reassurance, the reinforcement of certain acts, because play always happens with certain rules. So a lot of self-regulation is encouraged through, and positive learning behaviors are reassured through play-based approach. It also makes children become comfortable with risk taking. So I'm not talking about physical risk taking, but to explore something new. So that acceptance and the core development of the skills, the resilient skill set, which is one of the major 21st century skill, play at that age group only. With play, you can start nurturing that aspect. It also provide essential aspect and insights for teachers to plan and refine their pedagogy, because they will get a lot of understanding of child's areas under PSED as well as academic concepts they are covering, and they can work with the children in a more planned manner during their pedagogical approach. For all these reasons, Cambridge early years engage learners through active learning, which comes in various versions through Cambridge curriculum, child initiated, guided, as well as adult led.
Neha ma'am, you are on mute. Ma'am, if you can unmute yourself. Yeah, now it's fine. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
I
ma'am.
think there is something that is happening which is muting me again and again. So yeah. So I was talking about, if you could move on to assessment. Another essential component is assessment. We all understand curriculum and teaching and learning approaches is one aspect, but are they happening in the manner they are expected to happen, and are the outcomes as per the objectives? That is where assessment plays a major role. In supporting the development in the early years. Progress is measured through observation, documentation, building of portfolios, age appropriate tasks that reflect each child's learning journey. This also gives educators a holistic view of growth and helps them tailor support so every child thrives. I would also like to, mention Cambridge Early Years comes with one of a unique digital assessment approach with the name of Cambridge Check Together, which gives you an objective measure of each child's individual starting point of ability at the start of the year and as well as at the end of the year. So, a diagnostic report from Cambridge is received for the child's learning journey, which is very unique to Cambridge Early Years program. I've not seen such diagnostic methods applicable to any other curriculum. So, Check Together allows each child to demonstrate abilities that you may not see through observational assessment alone. So, moving on, we have talked about curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment, but what is most important to you all as parent isn't a nurturing, safe, and emotionally secure environment the foundation of everything you want for your children? So, Cambridge has clear protocols and descriptors around it. A safe learning environment which considers adult awareness, including teachers and parents and all involved parties, physical space, resources, and opportunities. This includes a holistic child-centered approach, strong standards for health, hygiene, and safeguarding, trained educators and risk-assessed learning spaces, meaningful parent partnerships. Together, these create a nurturing environment where children feel fully supported. So I think I have covered majorly all areas. Um, we hope this has helped you understand how Cambridge Early Years build strong foundation and helps your child be ready for the world. To explore further, please scan the QR code on your screen. It will give you more detailed resources and inside you may click the picture for now and later you can explore it. I would also share certain links in the chat window towards the end of the Q&A session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ms. Riddhi.
Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. It was very insightful. From the teaching pedagogies to the detail about the assessment, you have covered a lot. So thank you so much. Ma'am, we have a lot of questions in the chat box. So let's go one by one. I'll be asking questions from Nana ma'am. Your inputs will be required. Neha ma'am, your inputs will be required. And Mohit sir, you are always there. So the first question, which is there, it is related to the infrastructure. So over to you, Nana ma'am. The parent has asked, is there a different infrastructure which is there in the school from the traditional classroom setup or from the setup which we have right now in our CBSE classroom? Will the Cambridge classroom will be different?
So I'll take that. And yes, we do have a different infrastructure for Cambridge classrooms. And there were many questions. I think we'll start with the perspective that how is Cambridge different from CBSE and what is the basic difference? So though CBSE has been a very strong conventional and traditional method, which has worked very well for I would say our kids, and we all ourselves are CBSE products. However, I feel that Cambridge is more inquiry based. Cambridge involves a lot of how to think proposition, and CBSE on the other hand, I feel is structured. It definitely is teacher led, and though it works wonderfully, and we have been progressive enough to take, but it is somewhere content based even today if I look at it. What I do understand is that each child has its own different unique perspectives of how they look at and how they stimulate. So sometimes a traditional and conventional structure plays well for a child. However, there are other children who need a lot of agency, who need their voice, who need their perspectives, and who need that kind of critical thinking before they dive into a concept. So there is analysis, there is reasoning, there is real world application, there are interdisciplinary connections that make Cambridge different from CBSE. And when I talk about DPS Dwarka Expressway, and when I talk about the facilitators and the infrastructure, it is totally different for Cambridge, because we wanted to make sure that when we are providing an experience for the learners and the facilitators, it is different. All our facilitators are Cambridge trained, and Neha ma'am would elaborate on how robust and how heavy is the training, so that it's more of unlearning what they've been doing these years, and then progressing with an attitude of every child can have logic, reasoning, and have interpretation. There are right from the teaching pedagogy to the assessment. The difference is felt not only to the students, but also to the facilitators who do that. So Neha ma'am, if you can elaborate a little on the training part.
So I did mention, when we were talking about the play-based approach, because it is a unique approach to Cambridge, and any pedagogy, any curriculum that when it has to be implemented, it gets implemented in a 360-degree manner. So the pedagogy, assessment, and curriculum, they go hand in hand, and the and the facilitators, or the earliest practitioners, as we call them, are expected to do trainings under each branch which I talked about. And for curriculum understanding, we have introductory courses. So each teacher has to undergo the introductory course. For pedagogy, focus on teaching courses are there. For assessment, understanding how to assess, whether by observation or through the check together digital assessment, and how to interpret the data received from digital assessment. All those are the trainings are available on the three areas. A Cambridge early years school is expected for its teacher to undergo these trainings, and I'm the school is already in the process. The teachers have already undergone few trainings, and because this is an annual cycle of trainings, it takes time, but a regular upskilling keeps taking place. Yeah.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. And there are some
Thank you
very
so much.
questions that I can say that what is the flow of the day, and can you give us some examples of how the curriculum is different? However, we would want to schedule one-on-one meetings or discussions with few parents, because I understand that they require much more time and understanding in terms of what and how is the difference felt, and regarding the flow of the day of what the child experiences. I feel it's something that we can take up in a one-on-one discussion. So any of your questions, every question will be taken, and a call will be arranged from our side to answer those questions too, if you don't feel that you're satisfied during these Q&A sessions. Riddhi, you can continue.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So one is a very common question which I can see over here is about the acceptance of Cambridge. So some of the parents want to ask whether the Cambridge will be accepted worldwide. Whereas the second question is related to if we are taking a Cambridge, does it mean that we have to send a student out of the country? What is the philosophy behind it? Over to you.
So would you want me to take that up? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes, it is an international education, and obviously it is for both the parents who aspire their child to study or eventually settle in a global setup. So even that could happen even while staying in India. The acceptance of the qualification is very much valid. In fact, just to factually quote it, a lot of almost 55% of the students are passing out from Cambridge A levels, which is the +2 program of Cambridge. They are staying back in India and pursuing higher education from India, from various state universities, central universities, the JEEs, the NEETs, you name it. So the qualifications are very well acceptable. I'll just put a link also for you to further read it on your own, but there's absolutely no issue. That is why international education is even more, has not become more aspirational in today's day and time, because of the acceptance and the relevance that parents have started finding in terms of developing the 21st century skills, and the skill set that is required not only to study at university levels, whether they are Indian universities or for foreign universities, but also the workplace requirements. So the Cambridge qualification will always stead the learner in a better place, for both the areas that I just talked about. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. Now, the next common question which I can see over here is the transition. Because as a parent, they really want to understand if the child is already in the CBSE curriculum, will the child will be able to adjust in Cambridge very well? And in future, if they want to shift back to CBSE, how flexible the Cambridge curriculum is?
So do you want me to take that up with you? And
Yes,
maybe
yes,
then
ma'am.
Ms. Naina, or you can add
Naina,
on
ma'am.
to it. Yeah.
Yes.
So transitioning from even within same curricula, whenever a transition from one grade to another grade is happening, there is always a transition that is happening. But obviously the skill set that is required, and that is what the trainings are for the educators who will be implementing the transition. So even the guidance, how to seamlessly transition children from previous ways of learning to the Cambridge approaches. The trainings are for that major purposes, and all the schools are supported in a lot of areas by Cambridge through professional development, through advisory support, through workshop sessions, and through interactive sessions like the ones we are having today. So there is a lot of support for the school who come on board with Cambridge, and transition is not a challenge. Coming back to the second part, which is the flexibility of moving in and out. So trust me when I say that one of the major phrase or word which is used with Cambridge curriculum is its flexibility. It is and the flexibility is of not only having the prior knowledge to be in the curriculum or leaving the curriculum, the grade level understanding of each areas of learning, curriculum areas of learning, be it literacy, numeracy, and understanding the world, will be, if not less, the child will be more, be at a higher levels of grade level understanding if he moves from this curricula to any other curricula. So there's going to be absolutely no challenge. In fact, a lot of schools they do come back to us, and they have conveyed that where multi-curriculum school are working, they find that the adaptability of a Cambridge learner to the other curriculum is more than is bang on 100%. So there is absolutely no issue in the transition.
Thank you, Neha ma'am, for explaining it so well. However, a migration to CBSE can always be an option because the school is offering both the boards. Wherein I do understand what I've been reading in the chat box also, that yes, there are some specific queries of how exactly the curriculum is different, and what are the plans and how will it be taught. Definitely we'll be scheduling one-on-one sessions with you. However, coexistence of two boards in a school does not mean it is hierarchical. It just means that what the family and what the child is ready for. Though there are infrastructural changes, there are differences in the curriculum and how it is taught in the pedagogies. We are very sure that it is on the choice of the parent of what they choose. And it is in no way hierarchical. There is no hierarchy that CBSE is above or Cambridge is above. Both can coexist according to the needs, according to the educational needs of a child. Some children need a lot of stimulation, and some children need a lot of higher order cognitive thinking skills to be developed and to be shaped. And it is completely a family's call of what they would want to. They are free to understand from us that what is Cambridge offering, how the international standards and benchmarks can define their child's progress, what is the difference in the assessment of the assessments that they have gone through and the checkpoints assessment that Cambridge offers. So definitely there is a difference, and we are definitely there to explain you all. But I would want to tell you all that it's not hierarchical in nature. There have been, most of the good schools have had the coexistence of many boards in one particular school because it is completely on the learner's profile as to what they would want to take. So that answers it. And any other question that Riddhi you would want the session to have.
Yeah, ma'am, I suppose we have covered almost all the questions which are common for everyone. The personal questions which are there, we will connect with the parent and answer the same. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. Thank you so much, Nana ma'am, and Mr. Mohit, who is here, for answering all the questions. And before we close, we request everyone to scan this QR code. If you can move back, presenter, if you can move back, there's a QR code where the frequently questions are answered over here. So we understand that parents have a lot of questions. So yeah.
We've curated this list specifically for you all, so you can scan this QR code. And for all of those who have been asking questions in the chat box, we understand the curiosity, and I am personally intrigued by your interest. So definitely, this the success criteria of this session is complete when I see the chat box, where I would personally be there to answer all your questions in a one-on-one session. And we will not let any of your ambiguities pertain. We will definitely solve them. However, please do scan this code. There are some of the things that we always thought that parents would have. So anything other than this will also be taken up. And if you want to understand all these frequently asked questions also in details, we'll also be happy to take them.
Correct, ma'am. Thank you so
If
much.
you allow me to
request
speak for a minute, I would also like to add, if you allow me just to have an
Yes,
impassioned
yes, sir.
So I was
Sure,
there
sir.
just to, have the talk with the parents. So I'm really grateful that today that we got the opportunity to talk to you. And while we talk about the recognition and everything, we also, uh, work as a board to empower the parents, right? So we have certain, details which we have posted for parents separately on our Cambridge website. We have a complete segment for parents. There are questions we can always ask to school that what Cambridge qualification and recognition will take you the places. But still, if you are a person who use Google and internet very frequently, you would be able to get good amount of details which we create for parents specifically to understand from their perspective as well. You may have certain things planned for your child, right, well ahead, and what all things would be very well synced with your plans would be available very frequently on the portals which we keep on updating for parents across all the communities. So I would ask and I would urge all the parents also to look. Neha just posted the link as well in the chat box, so that would be helpful for you to understand more about the international board like Cambridge and give you the insights about all the pathways of Cambridge. Not only early years, we also go progress to primary, lower secondary, upper secondary, and advanced. The child who is taking into early years at age 3 would also able to complete the complete schooling with Cambridge. That is also the possibility. Thank you so much to like join this particular session, and I wish you all the very best to all the parents who learning journey in their field of the what they're aspiring to for their kids. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohit. Now, we also request you to take a moment to fill the feedback form. The QR code is already there. Please fill the feedback form so that we understand your query and then we can connect and answer the same. Once again, thank you for joining us for Explorica. We look forward for partnering with you and welcoming your child into a joyful and a meaningful early learning journey. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you so much, Team DPS.
Thank you so much, everyone. You all the who have said all their questions will be also receiving Google links that you can go and read on to. Also, the success stories, the testimonials, the flow, the curriculum, everything will be shared with you all. Thank you so much. And it was lovely and insightful talking to all of you. I would want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Mohit and Mr. Neha and Ms. Neha for sparing this time and giving all their valuable inputs to DPS Dwarka Expressway and the prospective parent community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. Thank you. Now we'll close the session.